Next up for us is New Orleans Saints at Indianapolis Colts. The Saints 3-4, 2-2 on the road. Colts 3-4, 1-3 at home. Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. What a wild football team the Colts have become. It's, Minshew out there fumbling the ball all over the place, running for touchdowns, throwing how many times did he throw? I mean, Derek Carr threw 55 times last week. What did Minshew only threw 23 times? Only 23 times. Still threw for 305 yards. 7 turnovers Minshew has in 2 games since taking over from Anthony Richardson. Just oh God, it's a horror show over there. And those calls were inane. They should not have been called. The Colts should have won that football game, but that would have knocked Jeff Slaughter out of the Pub Sports Radio survivor pool. So it's nice that Jeff sticks around. All right, let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Saints, Colts. And we have the total sitting at 43.5. It opened up at 41.5. So we've moved 2 points to the over. That's a big move towards the over. And then we have the Colts minus 1.5 and minus 104 with very little movement, almost no movement. Let's get into the cash flow here for this one. We have the 49% of the tickets and 63% of the cash on the under, and yet this total's climbing. 50-50 ticket-wise, but 65% of the money on these Colts. Saints come in off extra rest after their 31-24 loss at home versus the Jags in last week's Thursday nighter. It was another Jekyll and Hyde performance from Derek Carr. Sometimes he looked awful. Sometimes he looked good. It's hard to figure him out. 33-55, 301 yards, a touchdown and a pick. But they were 3 of 18 on third down. 3 of 18 on third down, and somehow they were that one Foster Moreau drop from tying this game at 31. They ranked 24th in the league, converting 34.3% of their third downs. They put up 407 yards of offense, but they were just 2 of 5 in the red zone. They've been bad there all year. 28th in scoring touchdowns in the red zone, 37.5% of their red zone drives. I mean, that's bad. Alvin Kamara all over the field, 17 carries for 62 yards, caught 12 for 91. Olave looks great too, 7 for 57. The defense that we thought was strong looked awful. Now, they did hold the Jags to 2 of 11 on third down. They're second in the league holding teams to 30.5% third down conversion rate. But the Jags averaged 5.9 yards per play, and they were 2 of 2 in the red zone on them. So they're 16th, allowing teams to score 52.6% of their red zone drives. There was no pass rush to speak of either. Nothing. 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits. And I don't trust Blake Grupe at all. The last thing I want is to have a bet on the line and see Blake Grupe walking out there to kick the field goal. Colts coming off that wild 39-38 loss at home versus the Browns. They lost despite picking up 150 more total yards than the Browns. Colts finished with 456 yards of offense. We talked about what Minshew's done with the fumbling and the picks, but he's done some things well, and Josh Downs is rolling. 5 catches for 125 and a touchdown. Pittman caught 2 for 83. Jonathan Taylor had his first big game of the season, so now they have the two-headed monster in effect. Jonathan Taylor ran 18 times for 75 yards and a touchdown, caught 3 for 45. Zach Moss added 18 carries for 57 yards. They went 7 of 15 on third down, 3 of 4 in the red zone, and they did that against the best, what we thought was the best defense in the league. I mean, now their defense looked horrible against PJ Walker. They couldn't get pressure. They couldn't get enough stops. I mean, they held the Browns to 4 of 16 on third down, but they went 2 of 2 in the red zone. And they're good in third down. We thought, they allow 37.5% third down conversions. Their red zone defense allows TDs 57.9% of the time, 21st in the league. They got 2 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. They lost Juju Brents to a quad injury. We're going to find out tomorrow with the injury report how bad it is. And Isaiah McKenzie's in concussion protocol. Take it away for us here, Troy. Saints, Colts, floor is yours.
I honestly thought I would not have anything to do with this game, but after hearing you, I started to kind of lean away too as I'm reading back through my notes. So the Colts put up serious points on the Browns, but if you go back and really just dissect that game, it's not what it seems to be. He had a 305 yards passing, but 165 of those yards came on 3 different plays, 2 of which were neutral zone infractions where Myles Garrett just tried to jump the snap on a third down. Both of them were on 3rd and 7. Tried to jump the snap, and they ended up hitting verticals. One went 59 yards for a touchdown, and the other head was like Alec Pierce for like 40 yards. The third play was Pittman making a 75-yard catch and run for a touchdown again on a cover zero situation where it was just a broken tackle that happens to a great defense. That's 165 yards. You take that away from that offense, and there's 3 touchdowns off the board. I just think there was a lot of luck involved with what the Colts were able to do on that offensive side. And I still thought the defense was pretty stout, but it was versus P.J. Walker and a pretty shitty Browns offense. I watched this whole game because I was heavily invested in the Browns. If I didn't have the money line, I would have went 0-4 on this spot, as I had the Colts team total under, which was dead almost immediately. And the Saints, I've been saying this team is not to be trusted. I've been talking about Derek Carr and how bad his numbers are. He's visibly frustrated with everybody on the offense, the offensive line. He's throwing up his hands at his receivers. It's not something you want to be backing. However, I just think it's a good spot to fade the Colts. The Saints are in a must-win situation, in my opinion. I know the Colts. You could argue that the Colts are too, but I just feel like this is a spot is just shaping up for the Saints to bounce back. They have a great secondary. Minshew should turn the ball over more, and as long as Carr protects the ball and doesn't turn the ball over, Saints should be able to get the job done in this spot. And the Saints have a good run defense. Like I talk about who the Saints have played against a lot. Their strength of schedule from an offensive their defense facing offenses, it's really weak. It's not impressive. But here's another not impressive offense, in my opinion. I think it just fits well for this Saints defense to be very good on defense and do enough offensively to get it done. I just haven't moved on it yet.
I feel like the volatility with the Colts is ludicrous. Like, it's
Ridiculous.
just out of control. I don't know what the hell Minshew's going to give you. I don't know what that 2-headed monster is going to give you. They need the Saints need Ramczyk back badly. He's questionable with a concussion. They need him protecting. But it's obviously people just saw both of these teams that we think are not these high scoring squads put up a ton of points, and both games that they were playing soared over. So the public's going to be betting this over, and it looks like the books are a little concerned because of that. But I don't want to fade the Colts at home. I only want to try to find reasons to back them. And I think that Minshew is going to be much more conservative here.
Well, the Saints don't really put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I mean, they're really good on the run. They get their hands. They bat a lot of passes, but it's not like they're sacking and pressuring the quarterback all that much. It's totally reasonable to make angles for the Colts here at the same time. And I love what Steichen's doing in general, man. They have some good skill players on offense. But Minshew, under pressure, if the Saints can't apply pressure on Minshew, Colts are going to win the game. That's where you find the answer to this game. Will the Saints be able to draw pressure on Minshew?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because you gave us those stats last week about what Minshew had done. You sent them in from the hospital.
Yeah, and they got even worse after last week.
Yeah, I don't. This is not the volatility with the Colts makes me not want to put money down on them right now. But I do have their over 6.5 wins, so I do like that spot. No action for me, Troy. You are leaning towards the Saints.
I'm leaning, but I won't have my money on this game.